Um, it's a little after 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Florida, United States, Volusia County. Um, 31 years ago from this day is 2025. I woke up to go to the bathroom and my mucus plug fell out to the toilet. I had been on bed rest for about a week because I was already 6 centimeters dilated and I didn't even feel it. Um, they wanted to keep my baby in me as long as possible so she could, develop her lungs because they're the last to develop. I wanted her to be healthy and strong when she came out. On this day, November 10th, 1994, I woke up my mom, grabbed my bag, and we went to the hospital, Halifax Hospital in Daytona Beach, Florida. I was in labor, and my mucus plug had fell out, but they weren't going to rush it. They wanted every single minute of her inside me to develop her lungs. But I felt started feeling contractions finally, and they were. I had maybe one dose of a light med, but I didn't have anything hard. I really wanted my baby born with no drugs in her system. Yeah, and that's a drug. So, as natural as possible, but in a hospital for safety. Um, so they didn't induce my labor or anything like that. They let it happen naturally. So over the course of a few hours, I felt contractions and they started coming on closer and closer together in time. And my mom was there. My mom says this is the most miraculous thing she ever saw, her granddaughter being born. And my mom's seen a lot of things, especially in the medical field where she worked for, geez, over 30 years now. Um, her father couldn't be there because he was working. He had already started paying child support before she was born so that I could buy onesies, blankets, a bassinet. I had decided if I could, I was going to breastfeed. I know people argue about this, and some feminists a few years ago were on a blog that we all know of saying, why are they saying we can't drink when we're pregnant? I'm like, dude, I wrote down everything I ate and got extra protein and calcium and iron. Uh, I did not smoke. I did not drink. I did not do any drugs when I was pregnant. And that's my baby. Are you kidding me? No, none of that. Jason was only a few weeks into turning 18 when I got pregnant, which was probably on Valentine's Day. And that's it. And, there's witnesses. We consummated our marriage, right? You have to have witnesses for that. And there's some cousin or brother or something who were there. Not that they were in on it. We were there. It was Valentine's Day, me and my man. So, a very easy, wonderful pregnancy. No, it was high risk. I didn't have any edema. I didn't get um, pregnancy induced diabetes. Nothing like that. No high blood pressure. It was perfect. It was perfect. And my labor was so easy. Yeah, there was some pain. I grunted once and apologized to the doctor. And and she was born. And after a baby is born, they get a little health test called the APGAR. The highest you can get is a 10. Healthy baby, healthy, strong, chubby little baby. She got a 9.5. Now I knew this before all this, about the APGAR, and I had made a deal with God way back in Paris, Texas. God, you make my baby healthy, and I'll live for you. That's when I converted. And, well, I got the APGAR score, 9.5. That's damn good enough. So ever since then, I've been doing my thing, sometimes undercover for God. Even recently, I pray. God in Corinthians. Is it Corinthians? I don't know. It says, don't be a philosopher. Those frickin' orgy ass druggy motherfuckers. I'm like, I know, dude, I know. But can I please be a Christian philosopher? Is there such a thing? There might be. So I've been doing my thing undercover for God. Usually, I pray and, I do my thing and read my verses of the day and read the Bible, study the Bible, and other religions and love people of other religions or no religion. So God made my baby healthy. But just when my daughter was taken to the nursery and my mom followed to make sure she's tracking that baby, um, a nurse was incredibly mean to me whenever I had to use the bathroom after my labor, and I was asleep for a little while and I had to get up, I had to pee. I am 5'2", petite. So when you see me looking chunky, I'm much lighter in weight than a lot of grown women, you know. Anyway, I'm a little thing, and I got little hips, and I tore, and they cut me, and I tore up into my butthole. So I had stitches all the way up in my butthole out to my perineum. So I had a really bad feeling about getting out of the bed by myself. Felt like, well, geez, I got new stitches. Everything might fall out of me, which is possible. So I called the nurse, and the nurse was like, well, you just had a baby. You need to be doing this on your own. And I was like, aren't you, what? I took a lot, though. And I went to the bathroom, and my mom complained about the nurse. All right, so my daughter, from the moment she was conceived, was never a problem. My pregnancy was beautiful, not a problem. My labor and delivery, beautiful, miraculous, not a problem. Raising my daughter, the most joyous thing on earth. Other people, hell. Yeah, yeah, some of them gave me hell. Um, you made your bed, now lay in it. And I'm like, what? You support pro-life, right? Anyway, that was Republicans. That's when I first got into politics. And so, um, yeah, that's my daughter being born. Her father couldn't be there. My mom called him and said, it's a girl. Her name is Britta. And he wanted to be there. He wanted so bad to be there. And I was doing my best. I was doing my best. Helen DeCruz, who recently died of cancer, God rest her soul, wrote a book called Wonderstruck. For her, I guess, and maybe for others, philosophy begins with wonder. For me, it begins with a baby on my belly. Holy shit, what do I do now? I better use my thinker. So the most important classes I took in high school were 4 years, thank you, of parenting classes. Nutrition, home ec just to keep the house clean for the baby, clean, nice environment for your baby. And, I also really liked math and science and English. And, I finished high school early and stuck around to graduate with my class to walk with my friends. In that time, I just hung around campus. They had some computers donated. Desktops were a new thing. I happened to know how to network them and set them all up. So I did that. But because I'm a rapscallion teacher's pet, I made all the screensavers say Jenny is the best. And my English teacher said, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, Jenny. And I said, Miss Orloff. She has a note on my website, on my resume page, to me when she was leaving the school, like that, I guess. But anyway, she didn't know how to change the screensavers, which was really easy. So, they figured it out. But they were hooked up with computers. And my mom taught my daughter how to use a computer when she was a toddler Here's how you move the mouse and see on the screen it controls that. And my daughter was playing educational games from toddlerhood. My daughter has an IQ score of about 130, which is gifted, and she is she has never been a problem. She's